That's right. Back at it again. Full custom hot dog here, and we're doing another Blu-ray review. That's right, that's right. And we're talking about the wonderful, wonderful film Demon Knight, which got a release from Scream Factory about a year or so ago. And if you're a collector, there was a German media book or digibook. I call them media books. Other people seem to call them digibooks. I think my version's better because there's media in the book and there's nothing digital in it. But then again, it's a book with a digital media in it. What the hell, you know? Anyways, there was a Demon Knight German media book release by 84, who did a lot, or maybe still does. I haven't been following lately. A lot of cool stuff. I actually own some of their things, and I did not watch that version, but I have the Scream Factory one, which is why we're talking about it. And Scream did a fantastic job. It's a solid transfer. I don't know the details, though, because I couldn't find them anywhere, but it looks good, so no complaints. Features on the disc include a commentary with the director, Ernest Dickerson, commentary with special effects creator, Todd Masters, visual effects supervisor, John Van Ville, special effects coordinator, Tom Bellissimo, demon performer, Walter Fallon. You've got a making of Demon Knight featurette, which has pretty much everybody. Panel discussion, which is with Ernest Dickerson and Dick Miller, and then you've still gallery trailer. Pretty solid disc overall, with all the features being pretty good, actually surprising. A lot of good detail, a lot of interesting stuff behind this. I mean, if you don't know about Demon Knight, well, it's interesting to note that it was a Tales from the Crypt movie, which I brought up to some people and they had no idea that there was such a thing as a Tales from the Crypt movie. I mean, yeah, there's that one in the 70s, I think. But this was like a standalone Tales from the Crypt film. And very different vibe. Well, we'll get into that in a sec. But very solid release. This is going to be an A for me. Oh, you can see my mouse. Could you? Yeah. An A release, because this is a great release of a fantastic film that seems to have been somewhat forgotten about. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. If you haven't seen Demon Knight, well, it's basically about William Sadler, who is on the run. His name is Breaker. He's on the run from a man called the Collector, who turns out to be a demon, and the Collector is played by Billy Zane. I think this is one of the first bald Billy Zane movies. Billy Zane talks about how he was balding, and he didn't like the wig they had him in or something, and he just decided to shave his head. And he also said he channeled Robin Williams as the genie from Aladdin for his role as the Collector. And it shows, because his demon is both silly and menacing. I think he's great. This whole cast is fantastic. So held up in this hotel by this demon who summoned more demons, and it turns out that Breaker is holding on to what's called the key. And basically, technically has the blood of Christ in it, and it's very important. A lot of story, a lot of lore. It's not what you'd be expecting from a Tales from the Crypt film. It's not this story with an end to it, you know. And when I say that, you know, like Tales from the Crypt episodes had like a twist at the end that like usually screw over the person at the beginning sometimes, the maliciousness. But this isn't that. This is sort of like Evil Dead or something. It's Evil Dead, Dead Alive, all that stuff where there's a rad good guy who fights demonic undead bad guys. It's rad. It's cool. I saw this as a kid. I totally lost my nanners. I mentioned the cast, so I think we went over the story. The cast is fantastic as well. I mentioned William Sadler. I mentioned Billy Zane. Jada Pinkett Smith playing one of the leads, who's just wonderful in this. CCH Pounder, who is always fantastic, is great in this. You've got Thomas Hayden Church. I think this is one of his first full-length film credits. They said they saw him and loved him on Wings and brought him on board. You've also got Dick Miller, who I mentioned from the classic Gremlins. Just a great cast here all around. Wonderful, wonderful. Also note is Charles Fleischer. Most people know him as the voice of Roger Rabbit. Also was one of the guys in Zodiac. And he was pretty creepy in that, which I'm probably going to review Zodiac at some point, mainly because I don't like it that much. Anyway, So yeah, this is an interesting movie to note. So it's very obvious when people watch this, it doesn't feel like Tales from the Crypt. I almost wish it wasn't a Tales from the Crypt movie because I feel like we would have gotten more of them. Now, we probably wouldn't have gotten something with this type of budget. This was $13 million, and I think they said on the commentary, adjusted for inflation, might have been closer to like $30 million or something. So I couldn't imagine a horror picture with such a budget. Obviously, the Tales from the Crypt name helps that, of course. And if you're familiar with the Tales from the Crypt episodes, you do get the opening and closing with the Crypt Keeper himself, still voiced by John Kasser. So, interesting things to note. I'm sure I feel like I said that a million times already. This script had been floating around for years, they said. All kinds of hands it passed through. Let me read you what I found on Wikipedia, because this is really interesting. Let's see. I'm just going to read this whole thing. Unlike episodes of the HBO series, the story was not adapted from the pages of EC Comics. The first draft of the script was written in 1987, 2 years prior to the HBO series debut. So, Tales from Demon Knight comes out in 95. This was done almost 10 years prior. It was first intended to be made into a film by director Tom Holland, who planned to shoot it as a follow-up to Child's Play. Holland hired an effects team to do preliminary sketches, but he ultimately went on to direct the box office bomb Fatal Beauty. Now, a Tom Holland directed Demon Knight probably would have been really good. I mean, I'm hoping. I don't know. I like Tom Holland stuff. Maybe, I don't know. Next, the script wound up in the hands of Pumpkinhead screenwriter Mark Carducci, who sat on it for several years before it was given to Pet Sematary director Mary Lambert. Lambert had some radical ideas for the script, including casting an African-American as Breaker to create a theme that the oppressed people of Earth were also his saviors. Once Lambert went on to direct Pet Sematary 2, which was a theatrical bomb, she could not get people to invest in the film. So, changes hands again, right? The script later went to Charles Band's Full Moon Features, but budgetary constraints held up the production in limbo. And of course, Full Moon, budget constraints, obviously. When it finally made its way out of the desks at Joel Silver's Silver Pictures, it was optioned to be the second in a trilogy of Tales from the Crypt theatrical spin-offs. Universal Pictures executives thought the script had more potential than the other two films, Dead Easy and Body Count, neither of which was ever made. Now, at the end of Demon Knight, they do say the sequel Dead Easy's coming, which is going to be like a zombie New Orleans picture. Obviously, that never happened. And then the rest of this blurb is talking about the film. And then they also noted how there were two scripts, this one with the demons and the one without demons, about the collector being a Bible salesman who uses a legion of salesmen to who look like people that just have fire in their eyes. And obviously they were like, no, that's stupid. The demons is a Demon Knight. You can't have Demon Knight without the demons. It's ridiculous. So this was always intended to be a trilogy long before we got wise to the trilogy formula, I feel like, before it kind of became a meme. So I mentioned Dead Easy and Body Count. Dead Easy is named at the end of the credits. They say, look out for the sequel. Now, obviously Bordello of Blood was made next, and what I didn't know was that they ended up making the third one, Ritual, in 2002, which I feel like I remember going direct to DVD and just looking at the picture of the box or cover and just saying, no, absolutely not, I won't watch that. Now, it's also worth noting that they were looking at other scripts to make for Tales from the Crypt films. One that they were fighting over was From Dusk Till Dawn, which they were I guess negotiations weren't going right for them to get the rights to that script. So very interesting to note that we could have lived in a world where the first Tales from the Crypt film, or a Tales from the Crypt film, would have been From Dusk Till Dawn. So I would like to see that, actually. But yeah, how cool would that have been? But I wish Demon Knight would have stood on its own as its own film and not be behind the Tales from the Crypt brand. It's just such a cool idea, lots of cool lore. I always talk about how much of a sucker I am for lore in horror movies, and this one is, of course, no exception. It's worth noting, too, Ernest Dickerson directed this, and this is very, very well done, in my opinion. I think the pacing is very solid. In a horror film, I oftentimes feel like the pacing seems to be one of the hardest things to get down. Sometimes they go too slow, other times they don't go at all. But this, it just feels like a nice, very nice, steady pacing all the way up until the finale that makes you not want to miss a beat. And of course, it helps that you have William Sadler playing a mysterious stranger and Billy Zane playing an eccentric demon. I'm trying to think if those are spoilers. Those are spoilers. Now, All of that is, of course, aided by wonderful special effects that a $13 million budget will get you. You've got really cool looking demons. You've got people becoming demons. Everything looks great. And for the most part, within reason, holds up very, very well. So, I highly recommend checking out Demon Knight. I'm going to drop a link to the Amazon affiliate stuff in the description. Pick it up if you're a collector like me. I think it's great. I can't imagine a better version coming out, but if there is, I would triple dip on this. I double dipped on this, mind you, and I would gladly triple dip. I do love this film, but I definitely recommend this horror flick to anybody. Yeah, because this is just such a nice blend of action and horror, and it's fun, and it's ridiculous and campy. I guess that's the Tales from the Crypt vibe, is the campiness and the goofy humor. It really nails that very well. So, check out Demon Knight. I'm not sure where it's streaming at or how to check it out besides physical copies, but I definitely think it's worth a watch. And when I saw this as a kid, I was blown away, man. I think I saw this before Evil Dead, and I was like, what did I just watch? This is crazy. People who you think are going to live die, and vice versa. I love when stuff does that. And there's a lot of siege films now, I guess you'd call it like a supernatural siege, but this is definitely one of the best. So check it out and let me know what you think in the comments. I always like to know how you feel about what we talk about here. And get some likes, we get this all up in that algorithm, and subscribe. I do Blu-ray reviews often. So it's Full Custom Hot Dog here, and you can holler at me on Twitter, Full Custom Hot Dog with LSO, because that is just too long for Twitter. So until next time.